Welcome to the Public Safety Committee meeting, May 10th, 2023. Ms. Patrick, can you give me the roll call?
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Ms. Johnson. Present. Mr. Tomei.
Here.
Mr. Williams. Mr. Rupel.
Present.
Ms. Robinson. Ms. McDonald.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for March 15th and April 12th, 2023 meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a second. Any questions, debate about it? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Citizen complaints? Comments?
Either one.
All right. Agency update, Charleston County Sheriff Department. Okay. St. John's Fire Department.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. First, I wanted to thank everyone who attended the blessing and open house at our fire station number 4. It was really nice to see a lot of you there, and thankfully we had good weather. And special thank you to the Kiowa Photography Club. They donated several, 60 different prints, but $10,000 worth to our fire station, and really beautify our new fire stations that we have in Kiowa. So special thanks to them. Thank you for those who came and supported the district to get our new apparatus blessed as well too. Two significant incidents on Kiowa, just of note. There was a male subject that fell off a second floor power washing. That was a Category 2 patient, and then also there was a grill fire on Surf Watch that had spread to the deck. Our personnel arrived in less than 4 minutes. Were able to make a quick stop before that entered the home as well too. So, several of you also in the room probably received an email from me as well. So September 18th, I know it's a little ways away. At 9 a.m., which is actually going to be held in this building right here, is we're going to have an external stakeholder strategic plan meeting. So the district is undertaking a larger strategic plan work for the kind of sets us forward the next 3 to 5 years, and that's going to go over every operation, person, everything with the fire district. So we will continue to send out invites on that when it gets a little bit closer to that. But thank you for the town for willing us to give us this room to host it in. It'll be nice. So coming up in I believe it's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, the USGA has an event out here at Cacique and River Course. Sounds like what I've heard, that it's going to be about 400 to 500 people, extra kind of on course, and there's 256 players. But they've not needed any additional medical, but we are going to staff an EMS squad for that weekend that'll be pre-positioned near those courses for a quick response if we need to, something happens there and we need somebody quickly. So be happy to answer any questions. That, no.
Any questions? Thanks. Charleston County EMS.
Good to be back with you guys. Sorry, I've
Good to see you.
out for the last few months. Been taking classes, which is comes on those days. I apologize. Spam call there from a warranty that's expiring. Charleston County EMS did 32 total responses on Kiowa last month. 16 of those responses, so half of them were we arrived within under 12 minutes. We had 11 of those responses between 12 and 20. Three of them were between 20 and 30. One was a 38-minute response, and I haven't looked into the details of that call. Unfortunately, one of them was 1 hour and 2 minutes, and that was an alpha level call that ended up being a non-transport, but the medic unit over here was on Seabrook, or going to Seabrook, Fort Seabrook, and we had another unit that got reassigned that was already on the way out here, just because of the way that the ProQA works as far as other calls popping up that are higher priority. Obviously not the most ideal situation for us. The other unit at Governors and Flyway we looked at it as staffed, and April was staffed 50% of the time. So it's at least being successful with summer comes along, though, we're gonna try to encourage more staffing of those units, as well as, putting more ambulances out on all of our beaches. As far as staffing is concerned, which has always been a challenge for EMS around the nation, but we are making some good strides. We have an EMS academy that started a few months ago. We have 16 EMT candidates graduating on June 2nd. This Friday the 19th of May, we have another 7 EMS personnel being hired on. In addition to that, we also have another 6 paramedics coming from Australia. So that's 29 employees, full-time, who are going to be starting in the next, say, 45 days. We have another 2 already slotted for our July class, which is growing as we speak. So when you look at the EMS Academy that we want to have again in September, we're looking at around 4 vacancies right now with our department. We could, of course, convert the EMT Academy positions over to EMT positions and actually have 24 positions, but then we wouldn't have any FTEs for EMS Academy. So we're making some good strides, working right now with our Deputy County Administrator on finding some more FTEs to help continue expanding our EMS department to meet our growing needs around the county.
And I'm sorry. Okay, questions? And you said that your staff, I'm sorry, you have 29 new people coming on. That'll put you at only 4 openings?
Yes, sir. And I'm excluding, in full transparency, that we have 20 FTEs allotted for our EMT Academy.
Okay.
So it's total of 24 EMT trainees or EMT paramedic positions that we have.
Mhm.
I'm also not including our supervisors. We do have a few vacancies in supervisors that we will probably promote from within. So you probably have another 6 or 7 of our paramedics that would be vacant once we promote those folks. We're probably going to do that in the next 60 days or so. But we still have our normal ongoing recruitment retention. I've got another 6 Australians slotted to start later this summer. And we're examining if we want to, depends on how this pilot program works with the first 12, we'll determine what our needs are and to see how many we may need to bring on board to augment any staffing shortages. But at the same time, concurrently, we're looking at expanding our FTEs. Not as an active council, but looking around the county to see what maybe FTEs may be around that aren't being filled, that we may be able to borrow as we continue to grow our department.
I'm curious about the Australians. Is that an international effort of some sort, or it just happened to be that way?
It's something that we as, so South Carolina is, there are a few agencies around the country who have done this kind of as a one-off, by going over there and hiring. We've actually retained a company to assist us, and the company we got is actually from it was founded with the South Carolina EMS Association. So they're to my knowledge, are the first to use this company and the first to actually have such an organized agreement. Charleston County is the first agency with the EMS Association to jump on this. So we are, I think, kind of at the forefront of kind of this idea. And the benefit with the Australians is their visa is about a 3-week turnaround time from the time they make the appointment at the consulate, as opposed to other countries that may take up to 2 years to get a work visa. So we're taking advantage of that. Sure. And Australia has a huge surplus of paramedics because they have 19 universities in Australia. So at any one time, they have about 1,000 paramedics who can't get work.
Wow.
So they're already going to other countries. We're just trying to take advantage of some of the legalities that we can to staff up. I venture to say that probably in the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see this kind of populating throughout the country as it becomes more well-known in Australia, and a lot of more EMS agencies in this country are kind of aware of this program. We're going to try to scoop ours up early.
And do they get special driver's training to learn to drive on the right side of the road?
Well, it was either that or we all switched to the left side. So we are working right now on a welcoming package and trying to understand them better and us better. So healthcare has been also a fun thing to try to explain to them as far as deductibles and such. So it'll be an interesting challenge, though.
Yeah.
But yes, sir, we are going to try to give them some additional driver training.
Any other questions?
Great,
Thank you, Dan. Beach Patrol?
Morning.
Good morning.
I think we finished our hiring and recruiting, and we are in the throes of training right now, furiously trying to get everybody up to speed before we get fully upstaffed by the end of the month. We'll have our next upstaffing on May 15th, and then we'll be fully staffed by the Friday before Memorial Day. So by the end of the month, we'll have our full hours. Starting May 15th, we'll have a presence on the beach between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. So other than that, I think we've finally settled in on a format for the reporting statistics. So if there's any input or something else you'd like to see, we're happy to make adjustments, but we're continuing to refine our data collection, and the accuracy of that is continuing to improve. So there's a lot of different ways that we can break down the data. We can get as granular as looking at the tide and telling you when we have what the tide is doing when we have the most dogs off the leash, or we can do statistics by temperature of the day, or pretty much any way you want to break it down. We've got all of that data collected, so it's easy to extrapolate now moving forward.
Any comments, questions? Thank you. Kika.
Yeah, thank you. Most of my updates are going to be addressed under new business, I see, so I'll wait for that part of the agenda. The one update that I'd like to bring to your attention is with the increase of trails being used by bikes and the increase of electric bikes which are not allowed on the island, Security Patrol has decided to do a trial basis of a patrol officer on a bike on the trails. We'll be starting hopefully June 1st. We've ordered all the bike equipment. We've picked our patrol person that's going to be doing that. He will be dividing his time between the truck, doing actual patrols on the streets, and half his time on the trails on a bike. And his presence there will hopefully curtail some of the electric bikes that are currently being used that aren't allowed, and also with any of the complaints we're getting about overcrowding and people going the wrong directions, which will also be addressed to the new business. But hopefully that program will start June 1st, and we're excited about that. So we'll keep you updated how it's going.
Okay. And I know we talked about the surveys with the e-bikes, and we talked about it last time about how we're going to move forward with that, and we're going to move forward together, because it doesn't make any sense for one to say yay, other to say nay. And so
Absolutely.
you guys are still working on that, and we're not moving until we can sit down and have them be on the same page on that.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Old business, law enforcement consulting firm update. So I'm still drafting the RFP so we can set out for the search team. Set out for a search consulting group. Once I complete the information, the intels from the town version, I'll be sending that out. Hopefully by this week. Stephanie's looking over what I already have. That way, each committee member can actually have the input in it as well as we voted on last time. So that's where we're going up with that. And once we get the RFP done, set out, then we'll have a chart based on who actually submit their application to that. So we'll sit down and look at what is feasible and what group will be best for the island. So that's where we're at with that. Emergency call box, Todd.
Morning.
Todd Kaminsky, code enforcement under Craig. I will be as brief and as trying to explain it for what I know with the meetings with this company was TS&L, Transportation Safety and Lighting. What you're looking at on there is the actual call box itself. That is the 2-button with the camera option. These are very customizable. One can go to information, one can go straight to 911, who we designate. And it takes a snapshot, an HD snapshot of the individual pushing the button from that camera. There's also the camera on the top of the actual tower with the there's a 4K option and a 2K option in regards to the cameras on top of the tower. It was recommended that we go with, that we upgrade to a 4K option because all the technology on these keeps updating. Every 2 years it changes, and they're easily changed, the software inside with the cameras. If you can go to the next,
You've got it.
oh, sorry about that.
But it will look clearer too.
That is my petite 5'9" frame next to this, the tower, which is approximately 10 feet tall, if not taller. The camera on the top, as you can see, that is completely customizable. Like any user, designated user, will have the ability to rotate it, rotate the camera using their phone. That is actual from the representative's phone, and it's extremely clear. The camera also has a motion sensor that anything that approaches it, the tower itself, it automatically flips on and alerts any users to that camera is on. You cannot delete the videos. The videos are overwritten about every 60 to 90 days. You can have multiple logins. They don't recommend having more than just a few people having this, obviously for security purposes. The towers are also self-monitoring every morning. They send an email to whichever designated user, as well as the company, and they check in automatically. Tower 1 is up, Tower 2 is up, Tower 3 is up. For argument's sake, Tower 5 doesn't send a signal. It will automatically email the users that are designated here, as well as the company itself, their troubleshooting team, which if they cannot figure out what the issue is on their own, they will send somebody out here immediately. It will immediately trigger a response by their company. Again, it's all based on the amount of users and what is designated as useful. The towers are able, we spoke briefly about where placement of these. Some of them, they are tall enough that they could be used also for traffic monitoring. Beach walker, some of the trouble spots, beach walker, and along I know we were primarily looking at the beach, along the parkway and beach walker were also some possible locations. In terms of hurricanes, and they are made to withstand 150 to 180 mile-an-hour winds. But the company does offer through an MOU, we would have to get them under contract, but if we wanted them removed prior to a hurricane event, we could have them removed. With the housing on these, if you see where my hand is, the housing on these and below, they have below where the signage is or the lettering is, that's where the batteries are housed. Flooding would be the biggest issue with that. That's why we would want them removed. And we can set them in a designated area of our choosing. For instance, the garages, wherever is safe. And they'll put them back up there, put them back on. We spoke brief. There's also an option, you can see from the top, probably the top sixth, just below the solar panel, is a speaker system. Again, any designated user, that speaker system is loud. And he demonstrated, you can speak directly into your phone and it'll come through any speaker that's another option on it. Any speaker that a tower has. You do them all, you can designate tower 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many. So it's, again, it's user-friendly and very customizable. The company, I have another meeting with another company, Talkaphone, this Friday regarding their systems. But that is pretty much where we're at with this. Yes.
Going back to your first slide, if you hit the assistance button, who answers that phone call?
We can designate that. So let's say, a lot of questions, for instance, even Beachwalker, they get a lot of questions about the dolphins. They could push that button. Anyone can push the assistance button, can have it go to that, to someone who can answer those questions. Turtles, whatever, and such. But the other button obviously is 911.
And what is the cost on those?
Well, depends on how many we get. The cost initially, what I had initially went with was for 40 for the beach accesses. There weren't many beach accesses on the East Coast that have these, so I had to do some digging there. But the estimate that was for 40 with all the bells and whistles was $993,480. They did send me, I didn't ask for it, but they did send me for 5, an estimate for 5. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, actually I do, I'm sorry. And it was $110,000.
Is there an ongoing monthly fee or anything of that?
The only rotating fee was so the cameras, they could either be stored on the cloud, which is a nominal $100 fee a month, or they do have a storage system on the cameras that, I am not a technical wizard by any stretch of the imagination, but I did have Mike Nardelia, who is much more familiar with those types of systems, who advised there was a lot of memory on those. And again, as I said before, they automatically delete or tape over, for lack of a better word, every 30 to 60 days.
And then they're totally solar powered?
They're totally solar powered, correct.
And what's the foundation like? Do you have to pour concrete to?
Yep, it's 4 foot of concrete, dig a hole, they come out and do the installation.
And then you said they were removable, so they must be bolted onto the foundation or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you proposing them on the actual beach or on the boardwalk?
From just where my initial with this was for the beach.
Yeah.
That was what I was told to look for. I don't know what the usefulness of that would be, other than maybe one at the high volume areas.
My only concern would be hurricane, because not just the wind, it's the tide and everything else. I mean, the hurricanes can take a lot of things off the beach, including the dunes and.
They're based out of Fort Lauderdale, so they're no stranger. As you well know, just recently they had a weather event. And I spoke to him a lot about that. And he actually had several pictures, I wish I had them now, of their towers sitting in the middle of public areas, half underwater. But again, they had already prepared for that flooding. And instead of housing the batteries and such in the lower quarter of it, they housed it at the top in anticipation of flooding.
And you mentioned cell phone. You don't need a cell phone to operate this, or?
You do need a cell phone. Like, it would be a system that is on your phone, like an app, whatever their
emergency button on here that you don't need a cell phone for, right? Or
It's still a cellular service.
So
Does that make sense?
What I'm getting to is you actually have to have your phone with you
No,
in order to use this.
you could use that.
Okay.
You just push the button and it's still a cellular service whether you use your phone or not.
Okay, got it.
That's what I'm sorry.
Craig, this question might be for you, but are you thinking on the actual beach or like back of the dunes or?
That will be something that we will have to look at, and, you know, I know we talked about it when we first started talking about, the emergency call box on the beach. And that will be something we'll have to look at, and if it has to be in the dunes, wherever, then of course we'll have to get permission, but, you know, that will be something we have to look at. I will not really have a direct answer, but yeah, that's something we have to assess.
Have we included ARB in any of these discussions yet?
That will be the next step, yeah.
I did anticipate
Yeah,
color and stuff, and they can color anything,
yeah.
like forest green, anything.
I'm glad you
Now,
brought that up,
even the
too.
face plates on them are customizable, they could have the logo, town logo on them.
Yeah.
But if you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. They're really quick about getting back in touch with me, and I can get an answer to as quickly as I can.
And again, this is just being brought up because it's an old business that's being updated, and just to let everybody know where we at as far as the progress goes. And we know that, you know, we have to go to the RB and stuff like that, but this situation and this product, to me, kind of like a one-stop shop. I know you have another a group on Friday. Right, but with this system here being, you know, with all the bells and whistles, it's a one-stop shop, because now we can actually see what's going on, not just on the beach, but Beach Walker, the Parkway.
In real time.
In real time, and also it helps out the beach patrol guys on the beach if there's something, a danger in the water. They have some type of access to get people out the water. So I mean, it's a lot of things that we all can utilize this for. But of course, it's still a process. You know, even if we have to get one for right now, something that Tony mentioned yesterday in the meeting we had about taking one thing at a time and getting the one and see how it works. And if it does, then you can add on more. So that also can be another possibility. So.
They recommend, obviously I know they have a business purpose also, but they don't recommend piecemeal like that. They recommend, I understand it's a business, but that's, because they have to come back and forth.
Right. All right.
The boardwalks are owned by Kika, right? Most
Not
of-
all.
The 40 public ones, I mean. Okay. Is there like an easement on either side, enough room to put one of these so that it's all on Kika property, or?
You're getting in the dune then, so it's really no CRM question. If you're gonna mess with the dune itself, you're probably not gonna get approved.
Right.
Not by us, but by OCRM.
I was thinking particularly private property, because we've had, Turtle Patrol, we've had some complaints because we put mile marker stakes for the Turtle Patrol, sometimes on the other side of the dunes, and property owners have questioned that. So I don't know whether you're gonna run into the same thing with this, so,
You will.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, thank you. And again, thank you, Todd. And Todd's been working on this since we started the project, and he's been asking a lot of questions because he knows what what we have to deal with. So again, this is just a update of where we at. Next thing, wedding and fireworks ordinance. So we're actually, the next council meeting, we'll be at the second reading for fireworks. We got to make some changes in a couple of the wordings or whatever. But when it comes to the wedding part, there were a lot of I would say complaints, but comments about that versus when, how, and to the point, it's kind of like it's up in the air with council now about it, whether we may need to have add more restriction on it, either just say no wedding. But just to let you guys know, we're actually about to go through the second readings of the fireworks. I believe, Ms. Patrick, help me out here, I think it's just the wording on the fireworks, am I correct?
Yeah, it's that time that you put on there.
Yeah, the time frame.
Yes, ma'am. Did you not ask that the Fourth of July be more of a generic, instead of saying that the fireworks are going to be on the Fourth of July? Correct, in case of a weather event. Yeah, so would it be better to say, the Fourth of July holiday? Unless people look at that as too specific as to July fourth, just specific, yeah.
Okay.
Because right now, if you look at it, it says the Fourth of July, and it gives you time restrictions on it too. So that's why,
I think that was changed, but
how else could it be worded?
Traditionally, the state permit will, the shooter has to fill in an alternate date if there would be an alternate date selected. So I don't know if you use the wordage of it's Fourth of July holiday or alternate date as specified in the permit. Is that they at least give a date, and if you get rained out twice.
okay,
And we said the same thing on New Year's.
Yeah.
okay.
New Year's is probably pretty much fixed on New Year's.
Weather
This is the wording.
Yeah. Okay, but let me ask you something else. On the Fourth of July, let's say the Fourth of July is on a Tuesday. Do you have the fireworks on Tuesday, or would they be fall on the weekend?
So traditionally, like the club has always done July 3rd. I think we mentioned that in one of the meetings of, it's July 3rd, 4th. Or if July 4th is a Tuesday, traditionally, not speaking for the resort, but it's been happening on July 4th itself.
And we have taken advantage on Saturday, like if check-in, check-out is typically on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So we have taken advantage of doing on Saturday and Sunday, so both post-arrival and current guest experience.
Okay. So then, in that case, you put the Saturday, the Sunday as your alternate day, then?
Just keep it,
Because then if
because
one gets washed out,
we don't know
you
what
do
it
two.
is. I
No,
just
it wouldn't
said-
be alternate, because we take advantage of both dates. We do 2 shoots.
Okay.
Okay, I'm like,
All right,
Sidebar.
once I got it, and
Okay.
see if that fits in.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments about this ordinance so far? All right. All right. New business. All right, so assistance with the traffic near the first gate in Beach Walker. So we were doing some, I guess we can call it some research about it. And of course, during the busy season, we're having a lot of problems with traffic. You got your beach goers, then you have, at the same time, people actually trying to get passes to get onto the beach during the summertime. So right now, what we're looking at is working with Beach Patrol to help us out with that intersection, as well as Beach Walker Parkway. I mean, not Parkway, Beach Walker, going to the beach, because they're familiar with a lot of things, and we're still working some things out on that. But, and please chime in when you guys need to, but when we looked at a whole lot of things, talking with Rob and Mike, a lot of these stuff can usually be handled among us who actually out there. And it's just a matter of communication between the town, Kika, and Beach Patrol, and just like we did last year to get it done. Because it's a lot of moving parts at the intersection during that time. And I had witnessed it myself when I went out there to help with traffic on Saturday, and trying to get people through the gate and get people on the beach. Some people didn't need to go through the gate, but they had to turn back around. But But I think it's just a lot of that and all of us paying attention to the weather. I know sometimes you know, never thought I would say this, but I pray sometimes it rains on Saturday, so it'll stop the traffic. But I think it's a lot that can be done just with what we already have. So, you have anything?
Two comments. The inbound traffic, especially in the morning, you know, and Jimmy and Chris can attest to this because we're on site a lot of times when we get the complaints, the traffic's backing up to Mingo or even as far as Freshfields. And our gate personnel are streamlining everything they can to not have a backup at that window.
Okay.
They're directing them to park in the back if there's a problem where they don't have what they need. So it's pretty much a sheer volume issue.
Yeah.
That stop sign, the amount of vehicles that are coming through backs up. So we're really watching the gate to make sure it's nothing we're doing to create the backup at the gate. We're pretty much streamlining those vehicles as fast as we can through the gate. But when you're talking in the morning of the contractors, the visitors, the employees, it's a sheer volume of vehicle issue. Now, the outbound, with this paver issue, with this paver construction project, I was dreading 3 weeks, knowing that my phone was gonna be blowing up about the traffic.
Right,
And
right.
it's turned out to be wonderful.
Yeah.
So the outbound, people love it, people
Yeah.
are stopping at the gate and complimenting us and saying, can we keep it? The outbound issue with the current traffic pattern has been alleviated as best it can. But the inbound issue in the morning is a sheer volume of vehicles,
You said it's a stop sign?
which is necessary because it's a, you know,
Could we consider eliminating that stop sign though?
I believe that been a talk in the past. Am I correct, Tony?
Done in the past, if you remember, and you ended up with your accidents and things when you had a yield sign there as opposed to everyone else was supposed to stop.
the amount of traffic coming out of the gas station in the morning and in the afternoon.
No one would stop till anybody crossed Beachwalk.
Great idea, it's just,
Just because of the line.
Yeah, there used to be no stop signs on the main road at all.
They tried to cross.
Years
cross
ago.
it at night.
And I know John Till is already, you know, working to try to get that project going as well. So,
so our personnel is aware, what do you envision, Beach Patrol, Matt, if you wanna, I mean, so we can work with you to make sure we're all doing what we need to do.
Rob, you guys got any comments you want to say?
So I think the biggest help that we can offer is alleviating some of the county park issues. And primarily those are gonna be on weekends and holidays. Historically, I think you're right, the volume in the morning, is almost insurmountable. And so we've been talking and we've talked with Craig about this. I mean, in the morning, it's not a flow problem, it's just the amount of traffic. So, and I've observed the same thing you have, the outbound issue is solved with the rerouting that we've done. So as long as that stays in place, the afternoons are taken care of. But you're right, in the mornings during that morning rush, I mean, contractors can't get in until a certain time, and then employees they can come in. I mean, employees aren't as restricted as contractors are, but I mean, everybody starts work at roughly the same time, so that morning rush hour traffic is just problematic. So as far as what we can do to help it, just keeping the traffic coming off of Beach Walker. But other than that, I think the biggest help that we have to offer is mitigating the Beach Walker issues on weekends and holidays.
Rob, our teams already communicate well and work well together, so anything we can do, just communicate with us and we'll help.
And we're here Monday through Friday, and so, I mean, you know, but, go ahead, Tony.
One of the things you might want to look at, Rob, if you're going to take this on, is the challenge is no one wants to use the left lane because they're afraid they're going to get stuck behind that person that's just arguing about a pass for 15 minutes. The behavior that has created is even when that lane is empty, no one uses it. So if someone's in the traffic lane, making people go into that lane, it'll help with the volume.
So Tuesday morning, I did that myself. There was one vehicle that was at the window, and I got in the left lane and I ended up 3 cars further back, once I got through the gate than where I would have if I had stayed in the right lane, so
Even when it's empty,
Yeah.
no one will go to that lane just because of habit.
Right.
So the sheriff's office, and we will often get out there and say, and make them go over there, and then it starts moving traffic. Just an observation.
I'll go to that lane when it's empty if I see it. Problem is, you're coming around that
Can't
curve
see it.
and you can't see it till you're like 4 cars in front of you at the stop sign. If you-
A lot of near misses with people trying to,
In and out.
like a drive-through, trying to figure out which lane to get in, you know.
So my understanding is just a matter of us continue to work together to try to resolve this versus adding more outside entity to it. It sounds to me, so I think we can work that out. We did it last year. I mean, I don't see why we can't do it this year. And Ryan and Dave, if you guys see any issues with that, please let us know, because I know that's my biggest thing. You know, we have traffic backed up and you guys got to get through that gate. Please let us know. We'll do what we got to do. But if there's anything that you guys can think of we can do to help with the traffic built up in the morning time, I know they can't, certain contractors can't go to that gate before 7, but if there's anything that we can do to try to help with the pressure, but please let us know. I mean, you know, if we have to have them park someplace else away from the island or whatever until 7, I mean, maybe that can be an issue we can do.
The fire and EMS personnel in the room, just so you know, we're notified of your calls by Alistar. And the minute we're notified and know that you'll be coming on the island, we start clearing that intersection to the best of our ability.
Okay. Any other comments about it? Pedestrians and bikers on the crossings throughout the island. Myself, Tony, two of our town council, Russ and Mike and Shannon, we had a real good conversation yesterday about this throughout the island. Just to bring you up to speed, I know our Public Work Department have already ordered some signs for that main intersection by the first gate for pedestrian crossing. There was some discussion about having similar colors approved through ARB, and of course that's still in the works. But we are aware, and we've talked about the safety hazard as far as that goes. Tony, you want to add a little more to that?
We were already beginning to look at those crossings, and looking at the pavement markings and signage and things like that, so. Working together with the town, and then obviously working within our parameters with the ARB, you know, we're gonna look at least the main intersections that go along and turn into Governors and the Parkway and even some areas of Flyway, where we're talking about doing share rows to be able to create at least an acknowledgement of where they're supposed to be. But all of that was a great meeting, and I think we're going to be doing some submissions based on that meeting.
Okay.
But we do need to understand, as we said, what's the town's desired sign, so we stay
Yes.
the same as we can. We'll get together, go over the signage package that the ARB has, so we can see if we can meet your goal and stay within that parameter,
Okay.
because then it's a win-win.
Okay. Anybody got any comments about that? Yes.
Tony, I just wanted to give you an FYI, just by bad happenstance, yesterday I was exiting, and there was a biker going through the intersection, even though the road was closed, the bike path was closed, so they're still using it.
We'll try to secure that more until we can,
Right, I was just riding because the biker was hand up as they were riding across.
I'll get with Mark and with Ryan, our engineer, and see if we can secure that better.
All right. So as we all just talked about the left lane, when you exit the gate, I had just add to what you said, Mark, didn't get any phone calls about that as well. I know, I mean, it seems like it was a smooth transition to the point, we've been looking at keeping it up for a little while, using some different color cones or whatever, but, I think, by having that there for a little while, I think that's pretty much gonna help some of the traffic coming out that you guys normally have traditionally, between hours, I think it was about 2 to 5, 2 to 6, whatever. So, that helped make some changes as far as having someone at the intersection in the afternoon, since that's been working. But again, between us, we'll monitor it and work together to resolve the problem.
Place a brick at a time, as far as I'm concerned.
Walker was saying he wanted to take credit for that design.
Yeah,
Didn't work, it wasn't mine.
All right. I really don't have any updates other than, I'm just glad that we're actually showing the community that we are working together, and that I know sometimes we get so busy on world, it really don't show. So, but really don't have anything to update right now. Any committee members have any updates, anything, comments?
The chief already addressed it, but the event at the fire station with the new engine was amazing, and it was nice to see the community support for you guys, so thank you for including it.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, they also have, we have a swim-a-thon, Swim Across America, I'm sorry, June 10th. June 10th, is going on the island. I think that's about it that's coming up. Of course, we got Memorial Day and 4th of July. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, one more update. We had a great meeting with the Barry Islands Directors and Chiefs regarding the critical incident platform. We're going to meet again at the end of this month to work on protocol, so that if something were to happen, we'll have some extra resources without going through the hoops and bounds. It'll be already on paper, just to let you guys know. That's including all agencies, support agencies if needed. The good thing about it, you just have to make one phone call and the cavalry's going to come. But it was a good meeting. I think it's going to be a monthly meeting with all the Barry Islands chiefs, directors, and police chiefs in Charleston County. And just to let you know, they will be a part of that mutual aid that they're going to put together as well. So there's going to be one document for everybody instead of each individual agency having their own. So that's coming up. But I'll keep you guys abreast. You guys will have a copy once it's signed, sealed, delivered. All right. Any other comments about that? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.